Hello everybody, in this video we will be starting with a new chapter which is Grasslands of the Temperate Zone. Now what is a grassland? When you see grasslands are the vast stretches of land covered with tall grass and a few scattered trees. So if you see a grassland, there'll be hardly a few trees here and there and the rest of the land is all covered with tall grasses. Now, nearly one fifth of the Earth's land surface is covered with grasslands, and this is generally seen in the temperate zone. So, grasslands are commonly seen in the temperate zone, and we know that temperate zone lies between the latitudes 23.5 degrees to 66.5 degrees in the northern hemisphere, and the same 23.5 degrees to 66.5 degrees in the southern hemisphere. So that is generally seen in this region here. So this is the northern hemisphere and this is in the southern hemisphere. They are seen between these latitudes. And these grasslands are given different names at different places. Like we have the prairies of the North America, we have pampas of South America, the steppes of Russia, the veld of South Africa, the downs of Australia, and the savannas of Central Africa. Now, in this, the savannas you must have already studied under the chapter of DRC. In this particular chapter, we will be focusing on prairies. So, everything that we will be talking about grasslands is specific to prairies here. Now, let's look into prairies more in detail. If we have to see the vegetation and climate of prairies, prairies is a vast stretch of flat land that is covered with miles and miles of grass. You can see this picture right here. You can see to no end, you can see just grass, and this is a flat land that has just grass, and grass everywhere. And this particular grass is green during summers, and during autumn season it becomes brown. Like you can see in this picture, whatever is green in summers turning brown here in the autumn season. And as you can see, there are hardly any trees that are grown. A few scattered trees here and there. This is one of them, this is one of them. So there are hardly any trees that are scattered here and there. Now, the soil in these grasslands is just like the soil of any other grassland. It is very fertile because it has very large quantities of humus. What is humus? Humus is the organic matter which is very rich in vitamins and minerals, which helps the plants grow very well. So, these soils of grasslands are very rich in humus. Now, if you see the climate of grasslands, we will notice that they have hot summers and cold winters, and there is generally moderate rainfall usually seen in summer season. So there are no extreme temperatures here, there's only hot and cold, and moderate rainfall is seen during summer season. Earlier times, prairies were grazing grounds for millions of bison. This here is a bison. So prairies used to be the grazing ground for millions of bisons, but now unfortunately a lot of the area of prairies has been cleared out for cultivation of farms and farmlands. It has been taken over for agriculture, so in today's day we find hardly any bison around here, and the landscape has changed a lot over the years. Now if we see agriculture, as we already saw, the soil is very fertile because it has a lot of humus in it. And water is available in plenty. You know, for agriculture to take place, water is a very important component. So water is available in plenty, and this is brought by two rivers called as Mississippi and Missouri, and their tributaries. So these two rivers are helping in irrigating the land, giving a lot of water so that plants can grow. And because of this land becomes perfect for agriculture because there is fertile soil, there is water. So this land is perfect for agriculture, and they grow a lot of wheat. This region produces so much wheat that it is called as the wheat basket of the world. So prairies is called the wheat basket of the world. You have to remember this. And this makes United States of America the largest exporter of wheat in the world. Now, apart from this, there are other main crops which are grown here, like maize, barley, rye, and oats. These are other crops which are grown in these fertile soil. Now, if you see their farming techniques, farmers generally use machines for all of their work, like plowing and sowing, harvesting, and threshing. For all of these, farmers use machines. If you can see this picture here, these two are harvesting machines here, and they are harvesting the crop as they go along. So this machine is going in this direction and this machine is going in this direction. You can see all the crop is being chopped off and laid out at the back of the vehicle. Unlike in India, where many farmers use manual labor to do harvesting, here they use high-tech machinery in order to finish their jobs. And if you see agriculture, they have very large farms. You can see here, this farm is huge. Everywhere that your eye stretches, you can see just a farm. So generally, these guys are the European settlers who've come in from Europe and they have settled in these farmlands which are very huge. So their houses are also within the farmland. Even the workers generally stay with them in the farmland. And because most of the work is done by machinery, this area is very little populated and the population here is pretty thin. Next, we will be talking about something very interesting called as rearing of cattle. This is another thing that people of the prairies do. Towards the western side of prairies, the landscape is quite hilly and the soil fertility is a little lesser. So this area is generally used to rear cattle in large farms called as ranches. So you can see here, this is a ranch. It's a large farm area where they generally grow cattle. Now, what exactly is a ranch? A ranch is a large farm where animals like cows, sheep, horses are reared or kept. So this is a ranch, this is a ranch. So we have ranches here where animals are reared and kept. Now, what do they do with these animals? Cattle are generally raised for beef and dairy production. By beef, cattle are generally sent to slaughterhouse for the production of beef. And for slaughtering, Chicago is the center. So most of the animals that are reared in the farms are generally sent to Chicago for slaughtering. Now, if you see this, ranches and slaughterhouses are equipped with modern machinery so that most of the work is easily done. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. Let's do a quick recap of everything about grasslands. We saw that grasslands are vast stretches of land that are covered with tall grasses and very few scattered trees. And we saw that these grasslands were given different names in different places. To name a few, we have prairies of the North America and pampas of the South America and so on. Then we moved on to the vegetation and the climate of grasslands, where we saw that grass grows aplenty, and we saw that bison used to graze in millions and millions there, but now because of agriculture they have become less in number. Then we saw that summers are generally hot and winters are cold, and there is moderate rainfall that is seen during the summer seasons. Then we spoke about agriculture of the place. We saw that these prairies were called as the wheat basket of the world, which makes United States of America the largest exporter of wheat. We also saw that some of the other crops that they grow there are maize, barley, rye, and oats, and they use high-tech modern machinery to help them in farming. Lastly, we spoke about rearing of cattle. We saw that they keep their cattle in places called as ranch, and we saw that ranch was large farms where animals like cows, sheep, horses are reared or kept. And we saw that Chicago was the center of slaughtering of animals.